Hi everybody and welcome to a Heel Heat review. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner Lodi.
Thanks, Lenny. Gary Rhodes, everybody.
And in case you haven't guessed, this week we're going to be reviewing Ring of Honor's Final Battle 2012. Now, we've reviewed some of these shows a little bit because they've shown them on the Ring of Honor TV show. But we're going to be giving a more in-depth review because this is more than just highlights. And I'll go ahead and let you start off because I know this was a match you really liked.
Starting off with the opening match, Michael Elgin versus Roderick Strong. Truth Martini was running around trying to bait either guy to stay with him. I thought it was an excellent match. Elgin got over as a strong guy. Roderick Strong showed a lot of his technical ability, as did Elgin.
I thought anytime you start a pay-per-view with two guys that are in the main event, you can't go wrong with that. You're giving away a decent match right off the beginning. I really liked the match. I thought it was good. A nice hot opener, got the crowd right into the pay-per-view, got them into the matches to come.
Now the next match, I like the match. I like the quality of the match, but I didn't like the way Lethal was selling the match.
Well, why don't you say what the match was?
Jay Lethal versus Rhino. Sorry. Yeah. But anyways, Jay Lethal comes out before the match even starts and says, "This match is for nothing. I got nothing to prove." So I really kind of put Rhino down. The best part of the match to me was who was doing commentary.
Steve Corino.
Exactly. I think the guy should do color commentary for the show. I mean, I like it.
I liked it, and they played up the angle where Rhino was getting paid by Corino and Scum to take out Jay Lethal. The point you were trying to make is Lethal was saying that because he doesn't have a chance to get a world title run as long as Steen is world champion. Spoiler alert, that's changed since this pay-per-view, but that was the gimmick going in. I thought it was a really good match. I thought these guys, again, you got two more guys that are in the main event picture. Rhino just headlined a pay-per-view. Jay Lethal's going to headline, spoiler alert, the next one. And, again, you start off with two really good matches, and then the third match was surprisingly good.
What I liked about this is these guys are both trained, but they wrestled like managers.
It was Prince Nana versus R.D. Evans after the split of, basically R.D. Evans stole the embassy from Prince Nana, and as anybody that watches Ring of Honor knows that the embassy is Prince Nana's thing. It's always has been, always will be. It's kind of almost a face turn for Nana. I liked it. I thought they did really well. Nana's thinned down a whole lot, and he looks in way better shape than he's been, I would say, even since when I first saw him when he was actually wrestling more. And R.D. Evans, this is the first time I've actually got to see him actually wrestle and not be a manager. I thought he did really well. I thought the goofy outfit he wore helped the match out, in my opinion.
It looked like Natty Neidhart's outfit. Like I said, I like the fact that these guys wrestled like managers. You could tell they were trained in certain spots, but they really, the psychology was all in this match. And I think, if you've watched the show, I've always liked ring psychology.
What did you think of the tombstone molded into a kind of a styles clash that R.D. Evans did? I thought that was a pretty innovative move.
I liked it.
And speaking of innovative moves, we have one in the next match, which I wouldn't say was innovative, but dangerous. Red Titus and B.J. Whitmer versus World's Greatest Tag Team. And it was a street fight building up to it. They've jumped each other back and forth on the shows and everything. And at one point at the end of the match, Whitmer's up on the top ropes, and him and Charlie Haas are jockeying for position, and Charlie just throws him overhead, and he goes head first through a table. One of the most dangerous spots I think I've ever seen.
I'll tell you what, it's one of the best street fights I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Say what you want to about Charlie Haas having a lack of charisma. I think it's really been shown out a lot since the last time I saw him. Yeah. Plus his technical abilities are really almost second to none, along with Shelton.
Exactly. And Titus and Whitmer's a guy that when you put him in these hardcore matches, he excels because that's his style. Red Titus is a guy, I think he kind of could fit into any mold. He's almost like liquid. You can pour him into any container and it's going to work.
I like that. Pretty good analogy there, kid.
Exactly. And another guy that's like liquid is Jerry Lynn versus Mike Bennett in Jerry Lynn's last Ring of Honor match. He's doing his retirement tour. I thought it was a really solid match. I really like I like Mike Bennett's character. I like what Brutal Bob Evans adds. I like what Maria adds. Who doesn't like what Maria adds?
Hey, damn. TNA, my friend, not the company. I really like this match, and I like the fact that Jerry Lynn is going out letting the young kids get over on him.
Exactly.
You know, it's not an ego thing with him. He just loves to wrestle, and that's one thing I've always liked about Jerry Lynn.
I mean, he's kind of a forgotten legend when you really think about it, and they even brought it up on there. He was wrestling in the Global Wrestling Federation on ESPN way back in the early 90s against guys like X-Pac, or at the time he was a Lightning Kid. And, you know, he's gone through every major promotion in the United States. He's won championships everywhere he's been. He was an ECW champion. He didn't win one in WCW as Mr. JL, but they saddled him with a shit character. He won the light heavyweight in WWE.
Exactly. I think it was his first night there, wasn't it?
He won the X Division in TNA, and I think he won the tag team in TNA, and he's been a Ring of Honor World Champion. The guy is decorated, and the guy is kind of a forgotten legend, but when you really look at it, he is a legend. His career is second to almost no one.
Oh, yeah. Jerry Lynn just always had that ability where, like, say his matches with RVD, that helped build RVD up. And I don't really like what he done with Mike Bennett. I mean, he really made this kid look like gold. And that's what a veteran's supposed to do. Instead of hogging the limelight, Hulk Hogan, you're supposed to let these younger kids look better.
And then after the match, Nigel McGuinness comes out, which in Ring of Honor is Jerry Lynn's biggest rivalry. Nigel comes out as the matchmaker for Ring of Honor. He gives Jerry Lynn a really nice looking plaque, and honoring him for all his contributions, which lets us into Nigel standing in the ring when Jay Lethal comes back out. They get into a little bit of skirmish.
Lethal in the face.
Lethal spits on Nigel. Nigel kicks Lethal out of the building. It kind of played like there was going to be more, but it didn't lead to anything other than that. Still a decent segment. After that, Nigel brought out, or actually not Nigel, but Kevin Kelly.
Yeah.
Brought out Mike Mondo, and while Mike Mondo was doing his promo telling about when he was coming back, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly came out and attacked him.
No, with Mike Mondo, I'm not talking bad about the guy. You know, he does put his heart into a lot of it. Would you say he is the least believable character in in Ring of Honor? There's just something I don't buy the character. I'm sorry. I see him.
Tough guy Mondo.
Yeah, I see Mikey every time I see him. I think that he's got that stink on him that everybody else, apparently, that has stayed in wrestling has gotten rid of the Spirit Squad stench, except for him.
I agree. I think Mike Mondo, he's someone. I think he's trying too hard to make his character not that. And I think when he was in the Spirit Squad, that was more of who he is. I think he is an upbeat kind of guy. Not saying he's a male cheerleader, but
I think he should.
Some people are just chipper guys, like our friend Gary.
Yeah.
Not this Gary, but our other friend Gary. Yeah. He's a guy that you see every day, and he's always happy. I've never seen the guy upset.
Yeah. I think that's the character should go with. I think if they brought him in as like a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and then something pops in him, I think that would be better than him just trying to play. Yeah. Than instead of him just trying to play the tough guy the whole time, because I just don't buy into it.
No.
But anyways.
Well, it sets up for Fish and O'Reilly to come and attack, and then Davey Richards makes a save. And leading up to this, the thing was that Richards wanted Eddie Edwards to be his tag team partner and reform the American Wolves. There was a question whether Eddie was going to or not. Eddie comes down, Fish and O'Reilly hold Richards for Eddie to hit him, and he ends up hitting Fish, starting the match, and gives us one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a long time.
Oh, I have to totally agree with you. That's the one thing I like about this company is they are heavy on their tag teams.
Yes, and they really care about the division.
Exactly. Well, you look on this pay-per-view, there's 3 tag team matches on there?
Yeah.
How many pay-per-views?
With 7 tag teams together.
Exactly. How many pay-per-views would you get 3 tag team matches out of with WWE?
None.
Exactly.
Unless it's some crappy non-tag team match.
Exactly. But this match did not fail to impress.
I really enjoyed it. I think it's the second best match of the night. The main event only being better than it. I really liked it. I liked the Wolves getting over. I liked the Wolves coming back and giving Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards something to do to keep them kind of out of the world title picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they're going to be chasing for the World Tag Team Championships because, again, Ring of Honor gives a shit about tag teams, and that's something I really like you just said. Now, coming off of that, Kyle O'Reilly's former tag team partner, Adam Cole, was facing Matt Hardy. To me, this was the only letdown on this whole DVD. Matt Hardy came in and threw an uninspired match. The fans were berating him because of his actions. I mean, Matt is just there to collect a paycheck, and I understand why Ring of Honor uses him. He does have name value. Probably for what his name value, he's probably one of the few really independent wrestlers that carry that kind of name value.
He is, and you know the things, we can't blame Adam Cole for it. He's not
no. Adam Cole is a tremendous wrestler. He's one of the brightest up and coming wrestlers there is.
Because he tried his damnedest to get a match out of Hardy, and it just seemed like Hardy just went in there and didn't give a fuck.
He just wanted to hit his spots and get out of there.
Exactly, and you know it was a shit match. He was blowed up after 5 minutes. And he was totally out of shape. I mean, people say, "Oh, you guys are out of shape." Yeah, but we're not wrestlers. We're not being paid to do this. People paid their hard-earned money to see Matt Hardy in that ring. And if I was a fan, I would be like, "Fuck you, Matt."
And I guarantee you, I've never stepped in a wrestling ring other than as a fan. But I guarantee you, I could put on a 5-minute match without blowing up.
Exactly. Well, the amount that he put into it, God, if you put the amount of effort he put into it, you could have a 30-minute match and not blow up.
Exactly.
That's it. You know. The man just went out there, like you said, to collect a check. And poor Adam Cole, I mean, he tried his damnedest, and he let the old guy get over, which he should always let the young kid get over. Matt, you.
Well, it was a screw job kind of finish.
But still.
To keep their feud going. Which, who really wants to see? Ultimately, I want to see Adam Cole win the feud and get rid of Matt Hardy from Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Now, the next match is based on trying to get Scum out of Ring of Honor. You had Coleman and Alexander versus the Briscoes versus Scum for the World Tag Team Championships. A really decent match. A kind of an old school, like an ECW three-way dance where there was no break in the action. There was always something going on. Kind of a car crash of a match, not in a bad way.
No.
Like every time you turn around, you know, if Scum was down, Coleman and Alexander were attacking the Briscoes. If the Briscoes were down, Scum was attacking Coleman and Alexander. And sometimes you would get the weird things. I really like the psychology.
This match here really, after watching the Cole and Hardy match, and you see this match, it brings you right back to, okay, let's get this. It gets your blood pumping again. I enjoyed it. It was probably, like I said, probably the third best match in the pay-per-view.
Definitely.
And that's not saying it's a bad thing, because, I mean, you look at the two other matches, especially the main event, which we'll definitely talk a lot about next. This here was an awesome display of athletic ability.
And we got the Briscoe brothers winning and becoming the 8-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I mean, what can you say about the Briscoes? When you think of Ring of Honor, these guys should be right on the top of the list. They've been there since the beginning. They've won the championship 8 times. There's no better tag team in the history of Ring of Honor. And these guys, they don't disappoint. They ended the match hitting a Doomsday Device on Jimmy Jacobs, and he sold it like $1 million. Jimmy Jacobs and Steve Corino, two really underrated talents. Two guys that have all the charisma and all the skill in the world as well. Coleman and Alexander as well. Two really good talents. Two guys, you know, that can go absolutely 100-mile-an-hour speed. Now we're going into the main event of the night. 3 years in the making. Ladder War number 4. Now, Ring of Honor, for those of you who don't normally watch Ring of Honor, they do street fights, they do fights without honor, but in their it's going to be 11-year history, they've only done 4 ladder wars. So 4 ladder matches in 11 years. I think they've done the same. They've done 2 barbed wire matches, but they hold it out and they do it for a reason. When they put it on, it's not like a WWE ladder match. It's not like a TNA ladder match. They give you something that you've never seen before, and the matches are brutal, and the guys definitely need time off after the match.
Oh, yeah.
We had El Generico versus Kevin Steen. Generico trying to get the Ring of Honor world title from Kevin Steen. absolutely brutal match. There were some really brutal spots. At one point, Steen whips Generico into the ladder, and he kind of does a cartwheel into the ladder and just looks horrible. A couple times during the match, they showed Generico's back because Steen was wearing a T-shirt as he always does, and Generico's back was just tore to shreds.
This match here, I wish this match was earlier in last year, where we could have put it on our top 10 list, because it would have definitely been on there. To me, this is one of the best matches I've seen in a long time. So
I would say this was the match of the year.
Yeah. So what I think we should do is, with this match happening after we did our show for the matches of the year, we're going to retroact this one for next year. Okay. Or for this year coming up. You agree?
I agree. I mean, it was a really, really awesome match. I mean, you have everything. At the end of the match where Kevin Steen, there's basically a bridge of two ladders between two other ladders, and Kevin Steen hits a package pile driver on Generico through the two ladders. It's something you have to see to believe. I've never, in my 30 years of being a wrestling fan, seen anything like it, and I doubt that you'll ever see something like it again, because it was just insane how they did it. This is the kind of match you could get with two guys that are actually really good friends in real life and are willing to give to each other.
This match had everything. It had technical ability, it had charisma, high flying, and brutality. The four things that make the best kind of match. And these guys really, like you said, they had to be best friends to do this to each other. Because even you wouldn't do this stuff they did to each other to your worst enemy. I mean, some of the stuff these guys did is like, damn. I like cringed for a few times during the match. It's like, you know, it's all planned out and all this, but like shit, man. I would, you could pay me enough to do some of the stuff those guys were doing.
I mean, ultimately, it was definitely probably the best match of 2012, and overall, I think this was the best pay-per-view of 2012. I definitely recommend anybody watching this review, if you haven't done so yet, buy this DVD or buy the direct download that you can watch on your computer. I personally like to have the DVD myself better, in my opinion. But that's me. Some people like to just buy the digital download, which you can do as well. You can do both at ringofhonor.com.
Yeah. All right. If we did our usual 1 out of 5, what would you put this?
I'd give it a 5, solid 5.
I have to agree with you. And I usually am brutal on things, but there was really, the only thing I did not like was the Matt Hardy thing, but everything else made up for it in spades.
It was so good. You know, there's 3 pay-per-views from 2012 that stick out in my mind. Basically, one from each company. Destination X from TNA, this pay-per-view, Final Battle 2012, and WrestleMania 28. And I think this is on par, if not better, than the other two. I was at WrestleMania, and I still think this is better.
I was there with you, and I have to agree, there was no downtime in this pay-per-view. Really, like I said, even with the Matt Hardy thing, I felt for Adam Cole, so I didn't look down on it.
You know what it kind of reminded me of?
What's that?
When NWA had Starrcade, before it became WCW, it reminded me of an NWA Starrcade card. I mean, you had stars from top to bottom, you had great tag team action, great hardcore action, you had a little bit of everything on the show. Any kind of wrestling fan would enjoy this.
You know, and I'm new to watching Ring of Honor, and I've watched TNA for a while, and I've grew up with WWF, WWE now, and I tell you what, the product that Ring of Honor puts out, to me, is better than the other two. If they had the spending quality that the other two had, I think they'd destroy Vince. That's my opinion. I mean, you can take it for what it's worth, but the amount of guys, the great storylines, I enjoy watching Ring of Honor.
Oh, I do too. I'm an absolute fan. As he could tell you, when you walk into my room, I probably got 200 DVDs of just Ring of Honor.
Yes.
But anyway, that's basically all we got to say about Final Battle. Go buy this DVD, buy the digital download. You will not be disappointed. Even if you go and pirate it somewhere, watch this if you're a wrestling fan. This is why you're a wrestling fan, for pay-per-views like this.
Best one of the year.
Basically, that's all I got to say about it. Is there anything you need to say?
That's it for me.
My name is George Coles.
Gary Rhodes.
And this is Heel Heat.